Hello and welcome to part 3 of Business Process Therapy, or how to improve your processes. I'm Andrew, and today we'll be talking a little bit about process design, things to consider as you go through the design or redesign of your process. In part 2, and I will place a link for that in the comments below, I talked a bit about some of the frameworks, and there are a lot of frameworks out there. Just find some concepts from within one of them that really resonate with you and really work well with your circumstances. Don't try and do it all, there's too much. As I've mentioned, I quite like ITIL, and there is a concept in there that I find really good for design. That says that the process should create value. So what comes out of the process should be more valuable than what went in. And crucially, and this is really important, that should be done collaboratively with the stakeholders, that it's a cooperative effort to create value from this process. Now, how much process? You need just enough process to get the job done, not more, just enough. We're not IBM, we don't need some big complex process. Let's just do enough. We also need to avoid going down the rabbit hole of trying to cover every eventuality. There will be things that you can think of in terms of alternate scenarios and alternate flows that are unlikely and have very, very low business impact. Don't include them in the process. There are ways of handling those, and I will talk about that a little bit during the implementation video that will be part 4, but don't include them in the process. It'll make it far too complicated. In part 2, when we were talking about analysis, I said that you would probably end up with a lot of ideas coming in from people. Now, hopefully you recorded all of those. Now's the time to dig that out. If you've got a lot of them, great. If you didn't, let's get some. And even if you did, let's get some more. Talk to the stakeholders, talk to the people doing the work. And there are 2 really good reasons for doing this. Firstly, the people who are actually doing the work, I think everyone generally accepts now that they have fantastic ideas for fixing this and making it work better. They are a great source of information. Secondly, this is a change, and not everybody likes change. The more you can use their ideas and get their buy-in to these ideas, the lower their resistance to this change will be. Another way of reducing the resistance to change is to not change so much. Try and reuse what you've got, reuse some of the tools that you've got, perhaps but in a slightly different way. Keep bits of the old process that actually work. The lower that change is, one, it reduces the change resistance, and secondly, you will probably realize value from all of this work much, much sooner. Now, also keep the goal in mind. Why are we doing this? What are the business goals? And with all of that, try and then create a process that creates value in stages. You can split it into parts if you need to, but whatever you do, keep it simple and keep it flexible. That's a key thing to keep in mind. It must be flexible. Final thing to consider as you're doing the design of your new process is communication. More processes break down from poor communication between the different teams than for probably any other reason. And it's also really difficult to shoehorn in communication after you've got this thing live. So design from there. How are people going to get informed about what's happening, what needs to be done when it's ready, what the status of things is as it goes through the process. If you have a particular process that you'd like to have a quick discussion with me about, I'll put my Calendly link in the comments as well. Book a free 30-minute call. I'm happy to talk about your process, give you some advice. As I always say, if we're not talking about these processes, we're never going to fix them.